Welcome back to day 18 of our month-long Halloween story spookathon. If you're new to our channel, welcome, and I hope you enjoy There's a Parasite Growing Inside Me by Kerestina. I don't know why or how it happened. It would have been better if I did, but now it is how it is. A parasite grew inside my body. It began several months ago. I suddenly started to feel ill, nauseated. For a time, my life revolved solely around cravings and vomit. It was impossible to hide or deny the fact that I was unwell, and my parents brought me to a doctor. There, they made an impossible discovery. I was pregnant. That should have been impossible. No, this is not a story about how a teenage girl did the diddly-do and accidentally ended up pregnant and disappointed her family. Neither is this a story about a teenage girl who plays off her pregnancy as some kind of miracle. No, this is a story about how everyone ignored my wishes. I'm ugly, I'm an introvert, and avoid most social gatherings. And I'm pretty sure I'm asexual too. Like, I've never once looked at another person and thought, wow, I want to jump that. What I'm trying to say is, I have no interest in sex, and as far as I know, have never been in any remotely sexual situations. Despite this, despite the fact that the only time a penis has ever been close to me was when I was shot out as a sperm from one during my conception, somehow I was pregnant. Now, of course, there were people who didn't believe me. I'm not sure I would have believed me. It is basic biology. It takes two to tango and so on. However, this case was an outlier, something that became apparent fairly quickly. The thing that made people believe me was that whatever it was that was growing in my stomach wasn't human. At first, they thought it was something wrong on the ultrasound. Maybe it was a weird angle. Then they suspected that it was some kind of mutation, but neither theory proved to be right. When they didn't know what to think of it anymore, they decided to take a DNA sample. It was uncomfortable, but I too wanted to know what it was. It didn't have any DNA. It wasn't human. It wasn't even something of this world. An unknown entity was growing inside of me. I hope you understand that this news made me physically ill. I needed to get this parasite out of me, but no one seemed willing to help me with it. All the doctors were mystified by it and refused to perform the required operation. Then, despite my attempts at keeping this whole thing on the down low, someone, somewhere, let their loose lips speak, and soon I was surrounded by journalists from all kinds of media. Suddenly, this parasite became everyone's business. Every news feed bombarded me with reports on my apparent situation. Reactionaries made mocking videos of me. Strangers I never heard about or never wanted to know decided that this issue of mine was something they needed to get involved in. People from all over the world thought their opinion on this matter was of the utmost importance and needed everyone to hear it. Whatever I said, whatever I did, whatever I ate, it all became trending topics of discussion. Did I do well or did I do bad? I didn't care, but everyone else did. Some believed that my whole story was fake, something made up either to become internet famous or to cover up a teenage pregnancy. Others believed this was a sign of divinity, that this fatherless parasite was a new messiah. Then there were those who thought it was alien in nature and called for both its and my death, believing this was the start of an alien invasion. Wherever I went, people flocked to me. They touched me without permission and stroked their hands over my belly. They whispered lovingly and cooed at the unknown parasite. I tried to escape them, but was told that they only meant well and that running may disturb the parasite's development. In the end, I stopped leaving my house to avoid them. I loudly proclaimed that I didn't want it, that I wanted to cut this thing out of me. However, my words were only met with scorn. My body had become a part of the public domain, and my opinions were irrelevant. It was as if I only existed as an extension of this parasite. Even my own family stopped treating me like a human. I had thought that they would always have my back, but when money is involved, their love for me took a back seat. After I had refused to talk to any more media outlets, my parents had allowed a few reporters entry to our home. They had forced me to sit down for another interview of intrusive questions. Seriously, why did they keep asking about masturbation? That wasn't even relevant to the topic at hand. I was only allowed to leave whenever the reporters had reached momentary satisfaction. They were never satisfied for long. The doctors and scientists were a lost cause since the very beginning. They marveled at this strange new life form and did everything they could for an opportunity to study it. The parasite made me sick. I could barely digest any food, and my body was weak. I think I came fairly close to dying, but all they cared about was the parasite. As long as the parasite was healthy, it didn't matter how much I was hurting. And it was in that state I went into what can be called labor. Not even my hospital visits were private. Instead of allowing me to give birth in the regular maternity ward, I was taken to a surgical room with windows observers could use. I didn't recognize any of the faces staring at me with greed. My family had sold their spots next to me to some rich asshole who wanted to be in the news. The parasite tore at my insides. I tried to get it out, but it refused. The nurses told me to push, but it clung to me no matter how much force I used. It wouldn't come out. I begged them to cut me open, to rip it away from me, but they shot me down. They didn't want to risk injuring it. I don't want to know what happened to my nether region. There were sounds I never wish to hear again, and pain I just can't describe. I must have lost a lot of blood because my strength faded, and quickly my mind became unfocused. The white light from the ceiling above me and the faces drooling over me spun around, a blur of eyes and whispers. Then it was over. Someone suddenly pulled me up into a sitting position. I was too weak to resist and almost fell over from the unexpected motion. A nurse held me steady while another one shoved a disgusting creature into my arms. It was the parasite. Camera flashes bombarded me in an erratic white light. I heard them say how cute they found the thing. It wasn't cute. It was ugly and repulsive. It looked like a plucked chicken with white eyes, claws on its wings, and teeth in its beak. I wanted to twist its neck, but had no energy to do anything. It screeched and struggled against my loose grip. One of the nurses saw this as a signal and moved it to my left breast. They tried to make it eat like an infant. Its teeth scraped against my skin like needles. They paraded me around the hospital, showed off the parasite that was stuck sucking on my breast for everyone to see. The doctors and nurses acted as if this was their achievement. They spoke about the parasite, what they knew and what they speculated for the future. I was pushed and pulled into the most photogenic position and left like a prop to a middle school play. I made an attempt at ripping the parasite off of me, but everyone around me gave me condescending glares and disapproval. I tried to explain that its teeth were embedded deeply into my flesh, and I was certain that it didn't drink milk, but rather my blood. They didn't care. One of the nurses moved it from my left breast to my right one, as if that would help. It didn't matter if it literally sucked the life out of me, as long as it was healthy and available for studying. I was stuck with this parasite. They refused to remove it from me in any sense of the word. I would not be released from this nightmare until the parasite itself decided to leave me. Any future or dreams I had would have to remain like that, just dreams. Then a reporter wondered if I would potentially birth another one of these parasites. The doctors gave unclear answers. They said that I currently showed no sign of another parasite, but since I had got it once, it was likely I could get it again. This information made everyone but me delightful. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Well done story by author Kerestina. Make sure to check out their work in the link down below. Also, if you're just tuning in, check out the celebratory giveaway we're hosting until the end of the month in honor of my new novelette Book of Fear release. You can win a $50 Amazon book shopping spree and grab a free ebook copy of my new book. That ends on October 31st, 2023 at midnight EST. All right, Rosebuds, that's a wrap. Until we meet back here again tomorrow night, thanks for sticking with me until the end. Take care and stay creepy.